Hey, welcome back to the show. We're into a brand new year. I thought I've got some more tones to share with you with the Katana MkII, and today I really want to explore the Master of Puppets. It's one of the best albums of all time. Actually, I think it is my favourite album of all time. It's just an amazing record. It's just got such a complex array of songs that I just keep coming back to, and I've pretty much been using this album as like a guitar warm-up for the last 20 odd years, 30 years, and it's just amazing, and you always just find new things about it. But it's really cool and simple that you can just save all these as presets within the Katana and just come back and use them whenever you want. So first off, there's always so many things that I just want to talk about, exploring the Katana and discussing the software and everything with you all. I've actually made a heap of notes here, and I'll do my best to get through them as quick as I can today. I hate it when I get to the end of these videos and I edit them up and I realise I've just missed out on so many things that I wanted to say because I'm nervous about talking to the camera and there's just so much going on in the room. The first thing that I really want to say is use the Boss Tone Studio software. If you haven't been using that, I would say you're using about 5% of the Katana's capability and you just can't achieve half the tones that I'm getting. Even if you're not going to go tweaking tones and exploring them yourself and you just want to download presets like these, you still need the Tone Studio just to export and import and all that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of resources on the web how to download it, how to go about it. But please just go do that. You'll have so much more fun playing around with it. Another thing, when we did the Ride the Lightning the other week, I was wrong about saying that there was no acoustic simulator within the Boss Katana, and it was brought to my attention, and it's in the effects, and there's all sorts of acoustic sims there, and I've gone ahead and made a preset for the Fade to Black that I missed in that last one, so you can go download that now and add it to your last playlist, and it's actually really cool. But moving on, this is all Master of Puppets today. I just wanted to say that. But first, I think this is the best mixed Metallica album that I've ever heard. I think all the instruments are just there. There's great separation, the harmonies, the layers. The solos were fantastic. The bass is really thick and it's just got a really cool vibe about the whole record. I just think it was just so perfect. It's just, if they can just capture this whole record sound in every other one, I think they'd do fantastic. But I think we'll just start with this one first, and it's pretty much like the Orion sort of tone. And you get the idea there. That's the same tone that I did for the intro there in the background. And you can put it all in layers and you can use it for recording. It's just a really cool tone. It sounds great in the cab. And that reminds me, I'm actually going through the 2 notes Torpedo Captor X just there. And that's actually simulating the cab and these speakers with an SM57 microphone pushed up to it. These speakers are the actual Marshall voiced Celestion Vintage speakers. They're not Vintage 30s. They're Celestion Vintage, which is sort of modelled off the first versions of the V30s, I guess. They're a little bit brighter, they're a little bit harsher than usual, but it's a really good sounding cab. It's got a really raw sort of tone to it that's really great at capturing like a Ride the Lightning or even Randy Rhoads sort of tone. It's got that brightness about it. I'm sorry if my voice is bad. I'm just recovering from COVID. We got it on Christmas Day and the whole family's been really crook. And the worst thing was my ears were blocked and I couldn't dial in these tones, and I was just getting so frustrated I couldn't hear the sound. So if these tones this week are way off, please just let me come back to them. I'll update them later if they are bad, but I think they're okay. My hearing's come back. There's been so many comments just saying, can you show me how I go about making the tones and how I go about actually manipulating the amp and the software to get these tones that we're doing. And so I guess the main way that I go about manipulating the amp to sound like a boogie or sound like a Marshall. I'm just using the brown tone at this stage. I haven't really explored the others too much. So I use the graphic EQ on the input, and I find just tweaking certain frequencies on that just changes the whole front end of the amp. It actually sounds like a boogie just depending what frequencies you take out of it or you push into it. And a lot of you have also commented that the amp just sounds really boxy, and if you use that input EQ, you can just take out certain frequencies and get rid of that altogether and just change the front end of the amp and just really sculpt it to the tone that you want. But I would say that's the key just to making these tones. It's that input EQ. And then from there I also use the outboard EQ, which is also a graphic EQ, and I just use that at the very end of the mix just to try and like boost some bass frequencies, or maybe scoop just a little bit out of those mids, or push some frequencies somewhere else, just to try and make it sound like the record a little bit more. But then at the same time, through the modulation or effects panel, I actually choose the parametric EQ on the outboard side too. And it's just got different sorts of curves that I can just throw in and just like spike or just really hone in on certain frequencies just to make certain tones pop. And it really is just coming down to those three EQs and just sitting there for hours and hours and just like tweaking them till it sounds right, and A and Bing it back with, you know, guitar stems, and just trying to do my best just to dial it in. And so for dialing in all these tones, I pretty much just use my classic trusty Charvel loaded with the Kirkhammett EMG 8181 set, as well as the Jackson KVX that also has EMG 8185. But I also made a preset there called Master of Puppets Passive, I think, and I actually use the Rhodes for that has the SH2, SH4 humbuckers, and it just gives a different feel, and it just helps anyone out that doesn't actually have the EMG. So when you download these presets, they're going to be a lot closer. Something else I did with all these presets, I've linked the effects dial with the parametric EQ in the outboard in the high mids, I believe, just in the gain setting there. So as you turn that, you're actually just turning the gain knob for the high mids, and I found that's the most sensitive, just to change, scoop, or push a little bit more mids into your tone. So keep that in mind when you're tweaking these tones, that you can just start with that effects dial and just give it a little turn left or right, and you'll just see exactly how that changes the tone. It's quite dramatic using that para EQ. But next, let's just keep going. There's so much to discuss. The next tone, this is actually Master of Puppets Rhythm, and it's a little bit punchier than the Orion one. I'll just go from one to the other so you can hear the difference. And for the last distorted rhythm tone is actually dialed in for battery, and this tone is a little bit cleaner, it's got a little bit more mids and a little bit harsher going on, but this is it here. And now for the clean channels, and I just really love the clean with this amp, and it just captures Metallica vibe of clean really well. And in the intro to Sanitarium, there's actually quite a heavy tremolo going on, and this is it now. couldn't help myself, sorry, I had to click on that solo channel. But the solo channel, we may as well just, oi. I've got little mango, I got little mango here and he can't share the perch with Ollie. Here, I'll put him up there, but I don't think he'll last long. They squabble over that one little perch. I've got him down here, but he keeps flying off. So what were we talking about? Oh, the lead channel. Yeah, it's a really cool lead channel. I really enjoy this one, but it's just a great sort of guitar god sort of tone that you can have a lot of fun playing around. You get the idea with that. It's just a really cool lead tone. And the trick I've found using that lead tone as well, hey. Come here, mate. Come on. Come on, mangoes. Oi. Here we go. I'll just put him back on his little perch down here. Where was I again? You birds. So another effect that really brought that lead tone to life, especially when you're playing it in a mix and you just want to take over a huge spectrum of guitar there, is I use the pitch shifter. And with this, you can actually have a second or third guitar come into the scene, just digitally brought into the whole thing, that you can slightly lower or slightly raise the pitch in the background, have it levels right down, have them so they come in like 20 or 30 milliseconds a bit late, and it just creates this massive scenescape of a tone. But next, I've got another clean channel for you here, and this is the Master of Puppets clean, just in that interlude. But anyway, this is it. And just hold that thought, because it leads us into the next preset where I've just made, it's sort of like a solo tone, but it's using the harmonizer just to try and get that harmony in that same interlude. And now for the last tone in the playlist. I hope you guys are still with me, but this is more of that interlude with Orion there with the bass guitar and everything going on. And it's just, it really is just like a rhythm tone, just with a little bit extra on top, a little bit of delay and slight bit of ambience added to it. But it just gives you that really lush. That's a great tone if you're doing the recording and you're building the whole song and you just want to have left and rights and the harmonies and layers. But if I was just on my own, I'd just go back to that classic solo tone. And I guess that just brings us to a close. Those whole playlists are available to download in the links in the description. They're also going to be on the Boss Tone Exchange. But anyway, I just hope this video helped in some way, whether you're tweaking tones or you just want to play. But I guess when this video is finished, just go turn it off and go play. But until then, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.